Back with another movie review. This time, another favorite of mine from 1972, Blacula, with William Marshall as the title character. Although he's never called Blacula, in the opening scene he's given that name by Dracula. But throughout the movie, he's called by his real name, Prince Mabawalde. But anyway, the movie opens up in Transylvania, where an African prince, played by William Marshall, comes from Africa to ask Dracula's help to help stop the slave trade. But Dracula throws it back in his face and said, hey, it's profitable, it has merit, whatnot. And Mama Walde's, hey, you find merit in barbarity? And then he makes a pass at his wife, Luva, played by the beautiful Vanetta McGee, she was also very present in a lot of these movies. Melinda, that was the same year as this. What else was she in? But anyway, Luva. And but instead of considering Mama Walde's pleas for help, he seizes him, has his people seize him, his vampires, and he's transformed into a vampire. He's bitten, and he's left laying in a coffin, and Dracula tells him, I curse you with my name. You shall be known as Blacula. And leaves Luva to there, and to starve and watch her. Tells her that you will watch as the flesh rots from your bone, the black flesh. Why does it got to be black flesh? Why does it got to be black flesh? Just a few minutes ago, you wanted that black flesh. But anyway, it's 1972, present day. A couple of interior decorators, a couple of gay guys who were gay, yeah. They discover his coffin, and of course, they become his first victims. And he's thirsty. They dig up, they bring his coffin from Transylvania, unaware that he's inside this coffin. So he feeds on them, goes back into his coffin, and there's this doctor, Dr. Gordon Thomas, played by Thomas Rasulala. He's another actor who was very present in a lot of these movies throughout this time period, this era. And he's also a friend of a lady named Tina, who is, when Mama Walde sees her, he believes she's the reincarnation of his wife Luva. So he pursues her throughout the movie, just like Dracula did with his, the object of his affection in Dracula. And as the movie goes on, a few people turn up dead. A woman takes his picture, but when she develops the picture, he's not in the picture. And of course, he attacks her. She becomes a vampire. Then a cop goes to check on her and goes to see about her, and she ends up biting the police officer. And Mama Walde, throughout the whole movie, he always backhands, when he gets violent, it's always the backhand. Watch that backhand. And, he doesn't, I'm losing my train of thought. But anyway, no, Blacula is another one of my favorites of this time period of blaxploitation cinema. It's considered like the first black horror film of all time in history. The first black horror film. Yeah, it is. Depending on movie historians and whatnot. And it's a good one. It's a damn good one. There was a sequel as well, Blacula Scream, which is not as good as this one, but he's brought back to life through voodoo. But anyway, as he pursues Luva, Dr. Gordon, he's figuring things out and learning that, there's a vampire on the loose that's doing this. And, there's another character named Skillet who always says, he is a strange dude. I kind of like that character. He's actually played by the same actor who was in Harlem Nights, the Snaggletooth dude who had a problem with the kid coming in the room because he was gambling. He don't like kids in the room when he was shooting dice. It's the same actor who played Skillet. But he's ultimately he turns Luva. He bites her. They after a while. Before that, they develop a bond relationship, and she does take a liking to Mama Wally, and ultimately he does end up turning her into his new bride to be. But not long after that, she gets a stake into her chest, and Mama Walde is like, there's no reason for me to be here, and he walks out into the sunlight, and as what vampires do when they step into the sun, they melt, they burn, smoky, and the end credits, he turns into a skeleton, and that's when the credits roll. And that's my little review for Blacula. And there was I did this review a while back. There is a graphic novel, comic book, that Blacula, Return of the King, that came out about 3 years ago, January 2023, and it's set in Los Angeles, 2023, where Blacula, he escapes from hell against the devil's wishes in pursuit of the man who made him who he was, Count Dracula. He's got unfinished business. So if you like Blacula, look up that comic. It's a good follow-up. But this is my little review for Blacula, and until my next video, later.